Like you have to make the balance. You have to talk about the problem as well, and you have to talk about the solution as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Correct, correct. So you have to talk about the problem also, you have to talk about the solution also. Let's say the question says internet is becoming too much of a hassle these days. Internet is a problem, or because of too much use of internet, it can lead to many problems. So what are those problems and what solution can you offer? Let's understand this as a typical question that we may have, right? So how are we going to develop, how are we going to paragraph it, how are we going to write our answer is what I'll tell you. So you will divide your answer into 4 paragraphs. Para 1, what will you write? You will write the introductory paragraph. Introduction para. Now there are certain things that you will include in the introduction para. The first thing that you will do is you will paraphrase the question statement. Okay. What is paraphrasing the question statement? Vineet, can you tell us please?
Paraphrase means the word which we will not use. We have to talk about the same thing, but in means another manner.
Absolutely correct. For example, the question is global warming is becoming a major threat in the current times. Let's say this is the question. So you will paraphrase it in this way that climate change has become one of the prominent threats facing mankind in the current century, right?
Correct.
So I'm saying the same thing, but I'm doing it in different words. This is what we call paraphrasing, right? Paraphrasing.
Right.
Saying the same thing in different words. Now there are different techniques to paraphrase. I can either use synonyms, I can use antonyms, I can use word forms, I can change the sentence structure, simple to complex, complex to compound. Many other things can be done, right? But all in all, I have to change the words, I have to say it in my words, but without changing the meaning of the statement. This is my first and very important thing that I have to do. I should never use the exact statement of the question. It is considered wrong if you do that, and if whatever words you write exact copy of them, they will not even be counted as a word limit, right? So be very clear of that. The second thing in para 1 you are going to do is you will write, basically you will answer the question. Answer the question. So in this problem solution essay, your question was, what is the problem? What solution can you offer? So you will answer it briefly. And how will you do that is, you will say, internet revolution or excessive use of internet has given rise to myriad problems, or has given rise to numerous problems, right? But they can be handled, they can be solved through different steps, or through by taking some interventions on the part of authorities, on the part of parents, and so on. So whatever solution you have in mind, you will give a brief, very brief gist of that, and your para 1 is complete. You will not say a second thing about it. Okay? So this is para 1. Now let's come to para 2. What will you write in para 2? So here you will explain your problems. Whatever problems you have in mind, you will explain them. But how is going to be how it is, the process of explanation is, the first thing that you will do is you will state the problem. First you will state the problem, and then you will explain the problem. Explain the problem in 2 or 3 sentences. And after this, you will give an example of the problem. So you will exemplify the problem. it is always a good idea that you take real life examples in explaining your problem. I mean, your problem nahi, the problem of the question, of course. Okay? Now, sometimes it is asking you what problems are there. So, do not state just one problem. Instead, you can state two problems. And you can, so it is not very important that you have to explain or give example of both the problems. You can write the word additionally, moreover, furthermore, etc. to add more problems, right? So maybe two problems are sufficient. Fine. So this is your para 2. Fine. Now coming to para 3. How it should look like. Para 3 is here you will explain the solutions. So again, the steps that you will take is you will state the solutions first of all, solution or solutions. But remember, the solutions must solve the problem that you have quoted. It should not be like that the problem is something else and solution is something else. They should be interconnected, interrelated with each other. Okay? Then you are going to explain the solutions in one or two sentences. Yeah, please. And Vineet, you also, in case anything is not clear.
नहीं सर, कैमरा ऑफ.
मेरा शौक नहीं है एक्चुअली क्या है आपका 1 घंटे क्लास होता है आई कांटेक्ट देखिए स्वाति खास बच्ची है इनको भी मैं आपकी बैच में भी हम तो बहुत सिंसियर बंदा है पढ़ लोगे अच्छा रहेगा ग्रुप में.
करेक्ट.
Okay, so para 3 is clear to both of you. Para 2 is clear, para 3 is clear.
And can you please explain para 3 again?
Okay, so I was saying para 3 has to have the solutions. And remember, the solutions that you are writing over here in para 3 must explain or must solve the problem that you quoted in para number 2. Let's say problem is of flooding of the coastal areas. Let's say this is the problem that you have quoted, that with global warming, the sea areas or the coastal areas will get flooded. There will be a loss of life and property and a lot of devastation. For example, tsunami of 2011. Okay? But if you write in para 3 that we should plant more trees to solve the problem of global warming, do you think it is solving the problem of flooding in the coastal areas? Not really, right? So the solution that you're going to offer must be to establish floodgates and maybe build barriers to prevent flooding in the coastal areas, right? So your solution must be such that it solves the problem. And you can give example of Netherlands, which has excellent floodgates established at the coastal areas, right? So these two paragraphs should be interconnected, and that is how your coherence will come into picture. Your coherence will improve. The logical connection between your paragraphs will improve. Okay? This is your para 3. Clear? Now coming to the last para, which is nothing but a brief summary of whatever you have done in the previous 3 paragraphs. So this is called the conclusion paragraph. Remember, you don't have to label the paragraphs. It is not required that you label them or put them in bullet points. No, I'm just writing them in bullet points just to give you an idea about it. But it has to be very, very formal. It should look like decent paragraphs, nothing underlined, nothing highlighted or bulleted or written in capital letters or a heading formed out of a paragraph. Nothing of that sort, right? Para 4 is basically a brief summary of your question statement and a short summary of points in para 2 and para 3. So let's say you quoted two problems here. So very briefly you will explain these problems over here, or you will just write them over here, right? And then solutions very briefly, very briefly you will do this and your answer is complete. So this is how your essay for problem solution, a problem solution essay looks like, and this is how it should look like, right? Clear everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Okay. So now I'm going to go into the